Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we will be cooking a 4-meat meatloaf. Stay tuned, we'll go over all the ingredients and how to put this together. Okay, here's what we're going to need for our meatloaf today. This is just some of the ingredients and we'll go over more as they come up. But we're going to be using some bacon, onion, red pepper, garlic, hot breakfast sausage, some ground beef, and today we're going to be using some ground elk. Now, if you don't have ground elk or any kind of wild game, you can just substitute that for any other ground meat, whether it be more ground beef, ground chicken, or anything else that you would like. So we're going to go ahead and get started by dicing up our bacon. Now, I've had this in the freezer for about 15 minutes. This will just help with cutting and getting everything cubed up real nice. I assume that everybody knows how to cut up some vegetables and get things diced up, so I'll go ahead and spare you those details. Here I went ahead and diced up our onions, peppers, and garlic. In a hot pan, we're going to go ahead and add our bacon to it. Go ahead and get that broken up just a little bit to help with the cooking process. It will continue to break up as it cooks down further. We want to make sure we get that bacon nice and crispy. Now, when you are finished cooking your bacon, go ahead and remove the bacon, put it in a bowl on the side, but make sure you save all of that grease. We're going to need it to saute our vegetables. So now that we've pulled our bacon out of the pan, let's go ahead and saute our vegetables. I like to start with the red peppers as they tend to take just a little bit longer to cook down. So I like to give them about a minute head start. Now that we've cooked our red peppers down a little bit, we're going to go ahead and add in our onions. What we want to do here is cook them until they start to turn translucent. Now that our onions are starting to turn translucent, let's go ahead and add in our garlic. A good rule of thumb here for garlic is cook it until you can smell it. So it doesn't take very long, and we definitely want to pull it off once we start smelling it. That way our garlic doesn't burn. Now that everything has cooked down, we're going to go ahead and pull this off the stove and dump the contents of the pan into that bowl of bacon. We still want to save the grease because we're cooking with wild game and that tends to be very lean. It is always good to add in some extra fat, so may as well use the bacon grease. Now to this mixture, we're going to go ahead and add in our wet ingredients along with our spices. We're going to start with a 1/3 cup of ketchup, a 1/3 cup of barbecue sauce, and about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're going to add in about 3 tablespoons of yellow mustard, and here I like to add in some of my favorite barbecue rub. This has black pepper, salt, garlic, onion powder, cumin, and some cayenne. And then go ahead and give it about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Once you've added in all of your wet ingredients, go ahead and just give it a stir to get everything well combined. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our ground meat. We've got 1 pound of hot sausage, 1 pound of ground elk, and 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef. Next, we'll go ahead and add in 2 eggs to our mixture. Last into the bowl, we're going to go ahead and add in 2 sleeves of Ritz crackers. I find it pretty easy just to go ahead and crunch all the crackers together while they're still in the sleeve. And I know the video only shows me adding 1 sleeve in, but I ended up having to add in a 2nd sleeve. Here's where it gets a little bit messy. We're going to go ahead and use our hands to combine all the ingredients together. We want to make sure that everything is mixed well and all the ingredients are incorporated throughout. At the same time, we don't want to overmix the meatloaf either. So go ahead and mix until well combined. Now that everything's been mixed together, let's go ahead and transfer the mixture into our baking dish that we have sprayed with cooking spray. Let's go ahead and form the meatloaf. We're going to go ahead and just even things out. We want to try to have everything uniform in size throughout the pan. This way everything cooks evenly. And once that's done, we're going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator for just a couple of minutes while our oven preheats and while we make our sauce. For our sauce, we're going to go ahead and mix together a 1/4 cup of ketchup, about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and I like to add in a little more of that barbecue rub as well. Now, if you like your meatloaf to be extra saucy, I do recommend doubling this. Then go ahead and stir to combine. Now that everything's been combined, let's go ahead and add our sauce to the top of our meatloaf. Go ahead and just dump out the sauce on top and spread things out evenly across the top, and you can even brush some on the sides as well. Once we get the sauce on top of our meatloaf, let's go ahead and get this thing into the oven. We're going to cook it at 350 degrees for about 55 minutes. We really want to make sure that this comes up to a temperature of about 160 degrees because we are using raw pork in our ingredients. And through the miracle of time, our meatloaf is done. Be sure to let it rest for at least 10 minutes. You want those juices to redistribute throughout the meat. In addition to that, the meatloaf does tend to cut better when it's had a chance to rest. Now that our meatloaf has had a chance to rest, let's go ahead and cut into this and see how we did. Wow, everything turned out great. The meatloaf was super juicy, very flavorful, and all around made for a great dinner. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel as we'll continue to roll out new videos every single week. Also, be sure to come back and leave a comment and let me know how your next meatloaf turns out. Thanks for watching and have a great day.